The Star-Spangled Man may be free from Strucker's prison, but the question still remains, what does the nation need now, Captain America or Steve Rogers? Well, let's hop into the pages of Captain America issue number 12 and find out. Alrighty then, so as we join the comic, we see Steve's recent imprisonment and framing hasn't done much to dull his spirits. He's already right back in the saddle and beating up a bunch of Hydra agents. Cap puts on such a show that it eventually reaches the ears of Nick Fury Jr., who has been tasked by the government, who we know is most definitely been infiltrated by Hydra forces, to bring Cap in. Throwing an interesting spanner into the works, no one is exactly sure if that's the real deal Steve under the mask or if it's the escaped Supreme Commander of Hydra. Now when Steve gets back home, him and Sharon are going to have a real serious conversation about their next course of action. Breaking him out was easy, what's coming next is not. You'll recall these two had actually argued quite a bit about Captain America giving himself up for a crime he knew very well he didn't commit, just to throw himself on the justice system to show that it could still work. Now that Cap has been to prison, though, in the belly of the beast, he sees just how broken everything is. America is truly injured. Captain America is injured, and he's going to need time to heal. Especially now as Alexa Lukin and her co-conspirators in the Power Elite flex their muscles in the media, playing on the leftover fears from the Secret Empire and creating a full-fledged anti-Captain America propaganda machine of which our hero just cannot seem to get out from under. But maybe he won't have to get out from under it alone. As Steve says, up until now he's been one man fighting a war, but you don't win a war on your own. An army wins wars. And as it stands right now, Cap has more than a few good men in the form of the Daughters of Liberty. The only difference is those good men are women, which is a joke that they actually make here in the issue. In fact, here's something interesting for you. Steve didn't even know the Daughters of Liberty existed as a group, and he's worked with these women multiple times in other adventures. It seems that the Daughters of Liberty as a group is actually much older than Cap, maybe even older than America, they say, but that's an origin story for another day, apparently. What we do know for sure, though, is that they are just as dedicated to the dream as Cap himself, and that dream they will continue to fight for. But hey, what about Captain America's other friends, like Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, you might be asking? Well, Nick Fury Jr. reaches out to him for help in bringing Steve to justice. Naturally, Bucky gives him the runaround, and we see that Winter Soldier, as well as the mysterious Dryad, are working on a brand new project trying to get information from the minds of Strucker and his people. It's important work, but it's also the kind of cruel and unusual sort of thing that Steve himself might have a problem with, and because of that, they're going to keep him out of the loop for now. Oh, and big spoilers here, so if you care, maybe skip ahead, but it's revealed this issue that Dryad is actually Peggy Carter. Yep, somehow back to life, and also younger, and with a nose ring. Now, as the comic winds down, Sharon and Steve decide to go check out one of his old armories. It's there he puts on a suit he hasn't worn for a very long time, the Agent Steve Rogers attire. Steve says that the country still needs heroes right now more than ever, but if he's going to save the day, he'll be doing so as Steve Rogers, until the name of Captain America has been cleared and he can assume the mantle once again. And so that was Captain America issue number 12, everybody, and once again I gotta take my hat off to Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's playing with some really interesting ideas here. Now, obviously, if you know your comic history, you will be well aware Steve Rogers quitting being Captain America is nothing new. He's done it a bunch of times. Whether it was during the 60s when he thought he could live a normal life, whether it was in the 70s as a reaction to Watergate when he decided he'd rather be called Nomad, the 80s where the government said the shield and the uniform and the super soldier serum were all their property, to when he died during the post-9/11 Bush administration era and didn't take the mantle back right away from Bucky when he was reborn, to just a couple years ago when he lost the super soldier serum and got old. This story seems to really fundamentally understand everything that came before and all the other instances when Steve stopped being Captain America, and honestly I think adds a really cool dimension to his character, and that is that just on top of being a regular superhero, Captain America also has to, deal with the very unique challenge of being a stand-in for an actual nation and all the responsibility and pressures that come with that. The dream keeps getting reiterated all throughout this series, and I think it's a really nice modernization of everything Captain America stands for. A much more accessible, universal ideal of goodness that can be enjoyed by everybody from, your Americans to, Canadian comic book critics like myself. Overall, I'd give this an 8. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out some of these other videos I have available from the channel. And you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you really like what I do, you might want to pick up a Cape Joel shirt. Yes, that's right, I have my own merch store over at TeePublic. Check out for great designs like my little Cape Man, stuff from the comic multiverse, fun stickers, in-jokes, we got it all over at the TeePublic store. You can check it out right now. And I will be sure to see you all again next time. Bye-bye.